Microsoft Lumia 950 is the future of smartphones, or at least the beginning of it. Here's why. Right now, it's a smartphone. But when I plug it in to a monitor, it becomes a Windows 10 PC.
Here's how it works. To control the PC, you can use the screen on your mobile as a touchpad. But if you want more control, you can also attach a keyboard and a mouse. Now I can browse the internet, write Word documents, watch Netflix, make Skype calls, and even play games. And with Windows Continuum, you can seamlessly start working on a PowerPoint presentation, and if you suddenly have to go, you can easily take it with you in your pocket and continue working on another computer.
Okay, so it's not really a full worthy PC. It's only a very light version of Windows 10, and it only runs relatively few so-called universal apps. So it's not like you can play Skyrim on it, but it certainly feels like a PC, and it's like having a work laptop that you can put in your pocket.
But most importantly, this is the first time in many years I've felt some true innovation from smartphones. For once, I think that both Android and Apple will follow in Microsoft's footsteps.
So what about all the other stuff?
At first glance, it looks like a pretty standard smartphone. And if you compare it to other flagship mobiles, it even looks a little dull. But as soon as you turn on the screen, you get the premium feel of a high-end smartphone. Though it may not be as bright as the iPhone or Samsung, it certainly looks beautiful and feels really responsive. In terms of power, it got an 8-core processor, which makes it really powerful and able to run some pretty graphic-demanding games. Combined with a great screen, it's potentially really good for entertainment. Though I'm a little disappointed that the only speaker is in the back, which makes the sound a little underwhelming. The battery life is good, but pretty average. But with the USB-C, it can charge super fast. It also has an input for micro SD, which enables you to get a lot of extra storage.
Of course, I have to mention the camera, which has always been one of the strongest sides of the Lumia phones. And this is no exception. With 20 megapixels and a big sensor, you're able to get a lot of details in your pictures. It also enables you to zoom digitally without much loss of quality. But what really makes the Lumia cameras great is the full manual control, especially the shutter speed, which is something I've always missed with other mobiles. This function alone can drastically improve your photos, especially in low light. You can also take a picture with a flash and later adjust how much of the picture is illuminated. This is a really cool feature. But how does it compare against other flagships? I wanted to compare it against the iPhone 6s and the Samsung S6. I used a tripod and clamps to get as similar image as possible. Keep in mind though that this is not a scientific test, but hopefully gives you an overview. First of all, I'm testing details in normal daylight. Here is the iPhone, and as you can see, it looks pretty good. But as we zoom in, notice the lack of details in this pillow or the flowers. The Samsung seems to have better details and more natural white balance, but it also looks a little over-sharpened. And here's the Lumia, where both the details and the colors looks really nice and crisp. Second, I want to test the dynamic range. This is how good the camera is in both the brightest and the darkest areas at the same time. Here I think the iPhone does a better job than the Samsung. But the Lumia has by far the best overall image. I also did a quick test of the selfie camera. Here's the iPhone, Samsung, and Lumia. I think the iPhone did pretty good. The Samsung look a little bleak, but has the most wide angle. But the Lumia has by far the best colors and details. And finally, the low light. The iPhone is struggling, and the Samsung does a little better. But the Lumia destroys them both. Just look at all the details in the clock.
This is where the large sensor and the manual control comes to its full use.
I also did a quick test of the video. All phones can film in 4K and has image stabilization. Here, the race is actually a lot closer and all phones did really good. But the Lumia seemed to take a lot longer time to readjust the focus. But if I had to choose a winner based on image quality, it would be the Lumia. It may not be easy to see here on YouTube, but it has the best details and color depth. iPhone and Android has their fingerprint scanner, while Microsoft has their face recognition. Now, this was something I was really skeptical at first, but it actually works.
It's still in beta, but I've tested it with many different people and in low light, but it's always fast and efficient.
And just like with the fingerprints, you can scan your eyes several times for a more accurate reading. The lack of apps is always brought to the table when discussing Lumia phones. But honestly, most of the apps I use most often is already here, including Facebook, Messenger, YouTube, Instagram, Dropbox, public transportation, banking, and Netflix. Snapchat though is sorely missed, so I hope this will be implemented in the near future. So in conclusion, not only is the Lumia 950 one of the best and most powerful smartphones currently on the market, but it also got quite a lot of innovative and awe-inspiring tricks up its sleeve. It may not be perfect, but it's certainly a benchmark for future smartphones. If you want a new and refreshing mobile with a great screen and an amazing camera, and you don't need all the latest apps, this is a very good choice. So all in all, I'm genuinely impressed with the Lumia 950.